Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Zen, and this is the 10th installment, 11th installment, I don't know. It's another installment of the Figma series where we are going to create this education page from the base page in Figma. This is a very simple page. I know these are getting very samey, but these need to be covered. So without further ado, let's get into it. Just like we've done before, we're going to do exactly the same thing where we are going to take our base page, we're going to make a duplicate, we're going to rename it, and then we're going to work on that. So let's do that. Here's our base page, right click, duplicate. In our copy, we're going to right click, rename, and call this education. And then we're just going to double click in it from the Figma website, and off we go. So first thing we're going to do is change BTEC course here to education. Now, one of the things that are actually required in the BTEC level 2 diploma for unit 13 website development, it's not a requirement for the digital portfolio, but it is for unit 13, is that you must have at least one table. I don't know why, because tables aren't used hugely anymore on the internet. Obviously tables are useful for tabular data, but it's not used a lot elsewhere. But it's a requirement, so we have to build it. And this page is a really good page for using it, okay? Because obviously when you think about the your GCSEs and the BTECs that you perhaps you did in your high school or that you're about to do, you can think of that as a two-column table. One column with the subject name, second column with the grade. And so this is a great place to put in that form that you need to. However, before we do that, as always, we should have a little bit of text just to give some person some information about what this page is about, even though it says education. So again, as always, we're going to put in the semi-transparent background. We're going to let it go across 4 columns. So this one here, and we're going to go across the 4 columns. And as always, we might end up resizing this a bit later on. We'll see how it goes. We're going to change its fill color to our chosen one. And then we can add our text box, which is of course, again, slightly inside it. So we get a nice little padding text around it, and then we're going to add our text. Now the text that you put in here is again entirely down to you. That's that text is going to be too big. Let me just reformat it here first to the left hand side. So as I was saying, the text you put in here is entirely down to you. My recommendation is that you tell us what schools you went to, and even though this is going to have the secondary school stuff, you could also put in your primary school. It's really nice that if you've come to the UK recently or from another country, to the one that you're in now, but you can even give a history of how you were taught or where you were taught abroad and stuff like that. You know, obviously I'm making this one up, so I've just got Seats Secondary School, where I did my GCSEs, and I've got the grades shown in the table below. With these, I was able to go to Seats College, where I'm currently studying their BTEC Level 2 diploma, first diploma in Information and Creative Technology. If you are still in high school and therefore you don't have any grades yet, you could, instead of having the grade column, you can have it down as predicted grade. Okay, so don't worry about that. You can still put all that in. And so that's what we're going to do now, is to make this next table. And again, there's no real tables in Figma, so we kind of fake it. And we'd start off with our rectangle. I did play about with the idea of actually using the postcard idea again, with the subject on the left hand side and the grades on the right, but it just didn't quite work very well. And one of the reasons for that is because we're going to have a lot of text on the left hand side for the subject, but the grade is only like a letter, and so it doesn't work out very nicely. It looks a bit unbalanced. A bit like me, really. As always, we're going to give this a 3 pixel stroke on the outside and a fill of pure white. And then I'm going to add a text box at the top here to represent the title area for this. And the best way I think is to do left align and then subject first. And I think we want this to be much bigger text. So let's set this at 48. That might be a bit too big. Let's try 44. And what I want to do is actually use some spaces to move it across some. And do a bit more there, and then put in the word grade. This is where we're going to do a little bit of messing about, where I'm going to have to delete this a bit. In fact, what I'm probably going to do, no, I'm going to leave that right there. And then, as I say, there will be a lot of sort of moving about on this one because it is sort of done by eye at this stage. We're going to use the line tool, and we're basically going to create a sort of underline almost here. And again, we want it at least, in fact, I'm going to make it big. I'll make it about 5 pixels. Make sure it's right, and I'm just going to drop it down a bit. Looks like it's grey. Is that just because we've still got? Let's go to desktop and get rid of that. That is pure black, but it looks grey to me. Maybe I need to see a doctor with my eyes. And then we're going to do the same again, and we're going to do this vertical. Okay, so subject here, grade there, and again we're going to set this at 5. That's definitely black. Maybe it's not wrong with my eyes, but that looks grey and that looks black, but we won't worry about that from the moment. Okay, so the next bit then is to put in our subject. Obviously, these are meant to be your subjects, okay? So, and one thing I always say to people here is don't lie. He says that as he's about to lie himself. And the reason why I've got to lie is obviously, you know, the subjects I did, they have a different grade boundary system as today, and you don't really want to know what I got either. So we're just going to make some up which are, you know, acceptable for the calls that we expect you to be on here. Notice I'm doing it right aligned, okay? So this allows us to do a little bit of playing about later on. So we're going to put in maths, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm going to put in number 5. Then enter, and then I'm going to go for English Lit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the number 4. And then I'm going to go for English Lang. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the number 4 again. Next line, we go for Computer Studies, which I think is what it's called now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and make that a 5. Notice that doesn't quite fit, but don't worry, we'll sort that out in a moment. And we're going to go for Geography. 5. That's number 3. And then Double Science. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 3. And I'm going to put in CDT rather than what I had before. 5 and the number 2. And then Art. Number 6. And then RE. And the number 2. Now, as we can see, that doesn't look very nice at all. Okay, so we're going to have to sort of tidy this up a bit. First thing we want to do is to make these text smaller. All right, this is one of the reasons why we've got these different text boxes, so that we can have these at different sizes. So let's drop these down first of all to say 36. That's a much nicer size, and it seems more appropriate. The other thing we can do is a vertical spacing, okay, and this is what's done here. Oh, sorry, this one here, the line height. So we've got a font size of 36, but we can do a line height, say, of 46. You can see it gives us a little bit more space. In fact, let's just do that bit. Let's leave it at 46 because we've got a little bit of space there. Okay. And then what we're going to do now is just click out and just extend this text box across a bit. Actually, perhaps I want to, yeah, we do want to be able to see. This is where it gets a little bit difficult, you see, because we need to try and get them all to fit. So even though 36 looks a lot nicer for the font size, it's too big for computer studies. So we're going to shrink that down. And we'll go for 32. Okay. Now, so even though I've already done one, and actually I think the other one I did looks nicer, this is what we have to do. We have to sort of play about with what we've got to try and get it to fit. What I'm going to do is actually expand this a little bit, both sides. In fact, I'm going to highlight these here, and I'm going to move my text up a bit. I think I've just taken it out of the columns. So let's just show my columns. Nope, that's all right. Okay. And again, let's go back into here. Let's move this up, and now I can move this text up. I can move. Oops. Let's move this over a little bit. And can I make it longer? Yep. Let's move this up. Can't seem to get. There we go. Let's move that up. Just do the up arrow on the keyboard, and then I can get hold of this text. I'm going to shift that up now as well. And now let's take that back to say to 50. Okay, and move it over now. Also, I did a lot more. Did all the others on 5, I think. Maybe only 4 on CDT and art. And RE, let's just. Okay, and really that's it. I mean, we can mess about with it a little bit more. I actually perhaps would make the text box larger. You see that moves over, so again you have to click into here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just going to move the whole box over again slightly because of computer studies. And there you have it. That is, if we just preview that, that is actually all you need. Now, again, I always say this is the minimum that you need. What things could we add? We have plenty of spaces here and here, and even down here. What would I put in these places? Your pictures of your schools. So again, especially if you studied abroad originally, you know, if you got any photo of that school there, or your school uniform from there, or the classrooms or anything like that, that'd be fantastic. You know, it'd be really nice to have sort of a photo there, maybe even a little text box underneath explaining it, even doing the Polaroid trick that we did on one of the other pages. I think it was in the About page. No, it wasn't. I think it was on the home page. Okay, so you could do that. Or, you know, pictures of your school logos and stuff like that. You know, pictures of you in your uniform, maybe the mottos. you know, or you doing sports or anything related to the schools that you have been in or currently are in. You know, putting those photos along here would make it a lot nicer and sort of would add value to that page. And again, that's an important term to use because that is a requirement of the spec, that you add value to your pages. You know, that's what the images do. But for the education page, this is the minimum that you need. You know, you're telling them where, you know, what schools you've been to, where you're currently studying, what grades you've actually got. You know, you could even add another table for your predicted grades of the courses that you're doing now and stuff like that. That's all okay. I'm saying just add some pictures. But that's it. So that's the end of this video. As always, I hope it's been helpful. Hope it's been interesting. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Tell me how to improve this and everything else. And I'll try my best to make it better. As always, I'll see you guys next time. This is Zen, signing out.